At the final press conference for Carl Froch versus George Groves, George Groves said in several interviews that he believes Carl Froch is scared and that he's going to knock Carl Froch out. And in the lead up to this fight for the past few months, it's been obvious that George Groves has been making a concerted effort to try and get underneath Carl Froch's skin and to play mind games with him. This is something that the George Groves, Adam Booth, David Haye camp are synonymous and infamous for, is these type of mind games. Now, even though George Groves, at least officially, has left Adam Booth and left that whole camp and now gone to train with another guy called Paddy Fitzpatrick. Paddy Fitzpatrick is very, very, very much part of that whole David Haye, Adam Booth, George Groves original setup. And if you watch the interviews with Paddy Fitzpatrick, you can tell that this guy is very close with Adam Booth. I mean, it's no secret anyway. Adam Booth has been working with him for many years. But on a social level, you can tell these guys are close because Fitzpatrick answers questions in almost the exact same way that Adam Booth answers them. He gives a lot of one-word answers. He comes across as quite aloof and not really wanting to cooperate with the interviewer. All the while giving this, projecting this demeanor that says, why are you asking me stupid questions? And I'm not being rude. I'm just giving honest answers. That's the kind of demeanor he projects. And I'm not criticizing the way that he comes across. I'm just drawing attention to it and showing the parallels between the way he behaves and the way Adam Booth behaves. So Fitzpatrick is very much of the same cloth as Adam Booth, David Haye, George Groves, etc. Now, whether or not Adam Booth is going to turn up in the corner at George Groves on the night, who knows? But what we do know is Groves has been playing a lot of mind games. He's even gone as far as putting his name before Carl Froch's on his t-shirt and stuff like that. So it says Groves Froch rather than Froch Groves to, try and make himself out to be the star attraction of the show. But the fact that he's going to these lengths to try and upset Carl Froch shows how seriously he takes Carl Froch. Even though he's coming out and he's saying, Carl Froch is vulnerable and he's insecure and he's scared and I'm going to knock him out. As much as he's saying all that kind of stuff, he knows how dangerous Carl Froch is, or else he wouldn't be doing all these, conducting all these mind games. He wouldn't be doing that. He's doing it because he feels he needs to do it to gain some type of edge over Carl Froch. And this is the most extreme case of George Groves' mind games that we've seen to date. Before the James DeGale fight, he really didn't say that much. He made a few little comments here and there. He was quietly confident, but he didn't say that much. He let James DeGale do all the talking. He let James DeGale pile all the pressure on himself by saying he was going to knock Groves out early and do all this kind of stuff. And in the lead up to this fight with Froch, it's almost been the reverse, where Groves feels that he has to get under Froch's skin, upset him, make Froch get off his game, and all that kind of stuff. So it shows that Groves really rates Froch a lot more highly than he's letting on, and he sees him as a very dangerous opponent. This supposed game plan that Groves talked about at the final press conference, where he's going to come out and meet Froch with a jab and push him back and all this kind of stuff. Well, that's what Andre Ward did, basically. So I don't know if that was yet another mind game, because that's what Andre Ward did. Andre Ward met Froch in the middle of the ring. He was beating him to the jab. And then around the third or fourth round, he started pushing Froch back and having him on the ropes and all that kind of stuff. George Groves is no Andre Ward. He's not as experienced of fighting on the inside and wrestling on the inside and grappling and pushing opponents back. He's not as experienced at doing that kind of stuff. So I think in the biggest fight of his life, it would be probably overly ambitious to try and do something completely new against Carl Froch like that. Completely new and not something that his training setup, neither Adam Booth nor Paddy Fitzpatrick have been well known for teaching fighters. So it'd be a pretty bold move for him to do that. I think George Groves is just going to box more similar to how Jermaine Taylor boxed against Carl Froch. He's going to move around, he's going to use his jab, and he's going to use his superior balance. George Groves does have all the physical attributes to beat Carl Froch. Make no mistake about it. He's got the hand speed, he's got the coordination, he's got the foot speed, he's got the punching power, he's got the punch variety, he's got the accuracy, he's got the move, he's got everything, he's got the athleticism. Everything is there to beat Carl Froch. I've only ever got one Carl Froch prediction wrong. I predicted Carl Froch. I think the first Carl Froch prediction I did was when he fought Kessler the first time, and I predicted him to lose. Then I predicted Carl Froch to beat Arthur Abraham. I predicted him to beat Glenn Johnson. I predicted him to lose to Andre Ward. I got it wrong when I predicted him to beat Lucian Bute, but then I got it right when I predicted him to beat Yusuf Mack and Kessler. So I've only ever got one Carl Froch prediction wrong. So far anyway. I might get this one wrong. But one of my most concrete predictions that I made about Carl Froch was the Ward fight, and I was totally convinced that Ward was going to beat Carl Froch and beat him handily. I didn't think it would be a difficult fight for Ward. A lot of people, especially in the UK, seem to think it would be. They seem to think Froch might get him late, or, you know, they were looking at the Abraham fight and saying, oh, look at the trouble Abraham gave Ward, and look at the trouble that Beaker gave Ward, and look at the fact that he was dropped against Darnell Boone. And they were looking at all these things and saying, well, Froch is better than all those guys, so, you know, he's definitely going to beat Ward, or at the very least is going to make it very difficult for Ward. But I never saw that. And the reason I never saw that is because of Carl Froch's weaknesses, which you know, could be exploited by Andre Ward's strengths. And Carl Froch has many holes in his game, but he makes up for them with his tremendous toughness, tremendous physical condition. I mean, he's one of the physically fittest men in boxing today. His physical conditioning is incredible, Carl Froch. He's got a tremendous chin, he's got heart, he's confident in himself, and that's a very big thing in boxing. So he's able to overcome a lot of more technically and athletically gifted fighters with the attributes that he does have. But he wasn't able to do it with Ward, and I knew he wouldn't be able to do that, because one thing that Andre Ward did very well is he's got tremendous balance. Yeah, and Carl Froch has got very poor balance. That's one of Carl Froch's biggest weaknesses, is his balance is terrible. If you ever watch Carl Froch fighting, when he throws his jab, he sticks his right arm out in order to throw a left jab. Yeah, he don't have it by his chest. He don't have it covering the side of his head when he throws the jab. He don't even have it a lot of the time in front of his chin, you know, Philly shell style while he's throwing his jab. A lot of the time, Carl Froch, when he throws his jab, his right arm is sticking out to try and balance himself, to prevent himself from falling off balance, and he's throwing a jab at the same time. He does that very, very often in fights. And, you know, his balance is so poor, especially against a moving opponent, that I knew that Andre Ward would exploit that. I knew he'd be cracking him with left hooks, because that's the easiest thing to hit him with when he's making that mistake. When he's sticking his arm out and hitting him with a jab, you know, Carl Froch has got very long arms, a long reach. So when his jab is out there, you might not see the left side of Carl Froch's face, because his jab's in your face. But the right side of his face is wide open because he's sticking his right arm out. So, and because Ward has got shorter arms and faster feet and better balance than Froch, I knew he'd be able to maneuver himself in quickly, be able to slip the jab, maneuver himself in quickly, and then land the left hook on Froch and have Froch looking clumsy. I think George Groves can do the same thing as that. He can. He's better coordinated than Froch. He's got a shorter reach, and a shorter reach can be a disadvantage, but it can also be an advantage. It just depends what range you're at. At close range, the shorter reach is going to be better for George Groves. The shorter arms and short reach is going to be better for George Groves at close range and mid range. Yeah. At long range, it's going to be more in Carl Froch's favor. But a lot of people are talking about Carl Froch's jab. They're saying that he's got a great jab. Carl Froch has got, you know, a very good jab when it lands. But again, the problem with Carl Froch's jab is that he needs a stationary target. The only time that Carl Froch ever looked like a world-class boxer, I mean, not necessarily to me, but to a lot of other people, was against Arthur Abraham. And Arthur Abraham is a guy who stands right in front of you. I mean, he stood right in front of Carl Froch, gave him no lateral movement, no feints. He was a short little guy, blown up middleweight, short arms. He couldn't jab with Froch. I mean, this guy was as one-dimensional as they come. Very tough guy, big puncher, strong, but extremely one-dimensional. And after they saw Froch jabbing him for 12 rounds and keeping him off balance and all them kind of things, people were saying, oh my God, Froch is a world-class boxer. No, he's not a world-class boxer. You're a world-class boxer when you can outbox other world-class boxers, which Froch has never done. Yeah, he's never outboxed. And when I say world-class boxer, I'm not talking about a fighter who happens to be in the top 10 or a former champion. I mean world-class boxer as in someone that has world-class boxing skills. Yeah? And Abraham's never had world-class boxing skills. He was a world-class fighter at one point, especially at middleweight, but he's never had world-class boxing skills. Froch has never outboxed a guy with world-class boxing skills. It's never happened. Yeah, he's outfought them. He's knocked them out. You know, he's out-hustled them maybe, but he's never outboxed a world-class boxer. It's never in his career has he done that. All right, so... And like I say, with his jab, he needs you to be a stationary target to land that jab. In the Kessler rematch, Kessler stood right in front of Froch. I mean, he was an absolute sitting duck for that jab. George Groves has the ability to move around and take Froch's jab away. And it's not that hard. I've seen so many fighters take Froch's jab away. It's not that hard. Just give him a bit of distance, keep him off balance. Froch won't be able to land the jab. And when he does throw the jab, he's going to be sticking his right arm out and leaving the right side of his head open for left hooks. So I think Groves does have all the ability to beat Carl Froch, the balance, the foot speed, the hand speed, and the power. Again, this is another thing. People say that Carl Froch has an iron chin. Anyone can be knocked out. I don't care how hard your chin is. Anyone can be knocked out. Carl Froch has been down. And George Groves, I would say, is definitely one of the top 3 hardest punches that Carl Froch has faced. In my opinion. I mean, I've never been hit by the guys that Carl Froch has faced. I've never been hit by George Groves, obviously, but just as an observer looking at the way Groves punches and the way he delivers his shots and whatnot, I suspect, anyway, that's what I should say. I don't know for a fact, but I suspect that George Groves is one of the top 3 punches that Carl Froch has ever faced. And he's very explosive, Groves, very fast with his shots, and he catches you unawares. And I think Groves is a better puncher than Lucien Boutte. I think he's... I know Kessler's very heavy-handed, but Groves is faster with his hands and more explosive than Mikhail Kessler. And interesting that I mentioned Kessler because according to Barry McGuigan, when George Groves sparred with Kessler before the Froch-Kessler rematch, according to Barry McGuigan from the sources that he spoke to, Groves absolutely dominated Kessler in sparring. And that might be one of the reasons why Groves has so much confidence going into this fight, because he probably feels he did a better job on Mikhail Kessler in sparring than Froch actually did in the fight. And again, according to Barry McGuigan, from what he's heard, every single sparring session that Groves and Kessler had was dominated by Groves. Yeah, every single session. And Groves wasn't even getting tagged much in these sessions, apparently. So I think that's where Groves gets a lot of his confidence from, and also these sparring sessions that he had a few years ago with Carl Froch, where Froch apparently dropped him, and then Groves came back a couple days later and says that he dismantled Froch. And you know, I can well believe it, because as I said, Froch does make a ton of mistakes. He does have a lot of limitations, but with his toughness and his tremendous conditioning, his heart, his determination, and his power, and his great chin, he's able to overcome a lot of fighters. He's able to overcome them. He also, again, he does have a long reach that can be used as an advantage, especially if you stand in front of Carl Froch. A lot of people are looking at this fight and comparing it to Lucien Boutte fight. They think it's going to go a similar way, and it might, but I don't think Groves is going to be as naive as Lucien Boutte. I might be wrong. Maybe Groves is that naive, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that Groves is a risk taker. There's no doubt. If you look at a lot of his fights recently, he's been taking risks where he don't need to take risks. You know, even in the Glenn Johnson fight, he admitted he didn't stick to a game plan, and he started getting out of his plan and whatnot, and he got told off by Adam Booth about it, because Groves does have that in him. He does have that David Haye type of cavalier mentality in him where he'll start exchanging even when he don't need to exchange. David Haye certainly had that at cruiserweight anyway, not so much a heavyweight, but a cruiserweight David Haye was like that. He'd exchange when he don't even need to exchange. And Groves is similar to that. He's a risk taker. He loves the knockout. He wants to get the knockout. If he does that against Carl Froch, it might pay off because, again, Carl Froch has been down. He was dropped by Jermaine Taylor, but I think that's too much of a risk. You don't want to do that in the biggest fight of your life. You want to minimize your mistakes, and he should be concentrating on making Carl Froch look silly. And if he's going to land any big shots, let Carl Froch walk onto the shots. Don't go looking for the shots. You know, we'll see what happens, whether he you know, decides that he wants to be a hero and try and knock Froch out, or whether he just goes for a cool, calculated points victory where he's keeping Froch honest with power shots here and there. And I think he'll probably do that. He showed that he can keep a cool head in the Gale fight, which obviously was the biggest fight of his career up to this point. So I think he'll probably keep a cool head and he'll try and outbox Froch from the outside, like most of us expect, similar to the Gale fight. But unlike the Gale, Froch is a lot more proven, and he will take risks and he will throw more shots at Groves than DeGale did. DeGale was very cagey and he didn't really want to let his hands go, and it was a very awkward, fiddly fight because DeGale himself is a counterpuncher. But Carl Froch, as we've seen many times, if he has to go looking for you, he will go looking for you and he can get to you. You know, he didn't do it very successfully against Ward because Ward was smothering Froch's work. Ward is a very strong man up close on the inside. He's very strong. I think that's one thing that kind of surprised Froch a little bit. He didn't expect Ward to be that physically strong, but he's very physically strong and very good on the inside, very competent. Again, I don't think Groves really has that ability like Ward does up close. He may try and push Froch back here and there, but to be honest, I think for the most part, that'll probably be wasted energy because I think Froch is probably physically stronger than Groves is up close. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But just to sum up, I think Groves has the ability. He has the... I also don't think he's going to freeze. You know, a lot of people said that Groves looked a little rattled at the final press conference. I also thought he looked a little bit lost for words and a little bit rattled at the face-off. But I don't think that's going to matter when he gets in the ring. I don't think that's going to matter. You know, familiarity breeds contempt. And I think Groves is familiar enough with Froch. He's met him. He's been around him. He's sparred him. He's sparred, you know, some of the same people that Froch has sparred. So I think that familiarity is another thing that gives Groves the confidence against Froch. And I don't think he'll freeze when he gets in the ring. I think he will try to confidently carry out his game plan. But in the end, I think it could be a case of everyone has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. Yeah, I think it could be a case of that. I think that Groves will outbox Carl Froch. There's no doubt to me that he's the better boxer and the more talented athlete. I think he will outbox Carl Froch for large sections of the fight. But at some stage or another, you would have to imagine that Carl Froch is going to land. And when he lands, how will Groves react? And how will his game plan react from that state? You know, will he stick to the game plan once he gets hit in the mouth? What's going to happen there? We just don't know. We just don't know. I'm going to do a final video on this tomorrow or Saturday. But I'm just giving you my thoughts as of right now in terms of what I'm thinking leading into this one, because it's very intriguing, very, very intriguing. The mental aspect, the mind games, again, it may play a part, but I think if it's going to play a part on anyone, it's going to be more likely play a part for Carl Froch. Once he gets in the ring with George Groves, he's going to be, you know, absolutely desperate to crack George Groves on the chin. I don't think he's going to do anything silly, at least not early in the fight. But if George Groves starts frustrating him, we might see a bit of desperation from Carl Froch. We might see some of that frustration that has been built up in the lead, you know, in the lead up to this fight, that pent up aggression and frustration. We might see that manifesting itself in the fight itself if George Groves is frustrating Froch with the movement and sticking and moving and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, as I said previous in this video, I think it's going to be quite similar to the Jermaine Taylor fight. I know Froch has come on since his Taylor fight, there's no question. But I feel that Groves is a bit bigger than Taylor. Maybe not in terms of height, but in terms of natural size. I think he hits a bit harder than Taylor as well. I think Taylor probably has the better jab than Groves. Maybe slightly quicker hands, that's debatable. But I think Groves definitely hits harder than than Jermaine Taylor. No question. Much more explosive, hits harder. And if he catches Froch right, when Froch ain't expecting it, don't be shocked if Froch goes down, you know. Don't be shocked. Froch has been down before. Don't be shocked. But I would be shocked if Groves takes some flush shots from Carl Froch and don't go down, or at least don't get seriously hurt. That's one thing that would shock me. You know. So yeah, long video, but I had to get a lot of analysis in there. Very intriguing fight. Can't wait till Saturday to see what happens. And as I said, I'll make a video either Friday. Sorry, well, I guess today is Friday. We're past midnight now, but I'll make a video either later on today. I might even make 2 videos. I might make one today, later on today after the weigh-in, and then make another one on Saturday with my final thoughts and whatnot. So yeah, drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel about this fight. How do you think the mental aspect of, you know, these two fighters is shaping up? Do you think it really matters? Or do you agree with me that these guys are both familiar enough with each other that all these pre-fight shenanigans won't really have that much of a bearing on how the fight itself plays out? Yeah, just drop your comments below on everything I've talked about. This is Hatman. I'm out.